Hello and welcome to Voices of Parenting podcast. I am so glad you're here. My name is Mussy Diskin. I am an advanced nurtured heart approach trainer. I am a parenting coach. I am also an inner wealth coach, which means that I help people rediscover and connect to the people that they truly were all along, but may have gotten forgotten along the way. So to find out more about me and what I offer, you can check out mussydiskin.com. I would love to connect and I would love to hear your feedback. Reach out to energizinghearts@gmail.com. Thank you for being here, and I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Hello, everybody. I'm here with Heather Meyer again today. I am going to pose a question to Heather. Heather has been a therapist for a very long time and so many other things, which go back to our other recordings so that you can find out more about all the things that Heather has done. So my question for you, Heather, is in Nurtured Heart, we talk about having clarity around where we're in and where we're out, like what's in and what's out, our stand one and our stand two, what I'm going to energize and what I'm not going to energize. A lot of times, especially with children, but I don't think it's actually really not true. It's not especially with children. Anybody really struggling, right? There is a lot, the experience of struggle is challenging, is hard, is painful sometimes. And the process of unpacking that can come together with blame of others or blame of ourselves. And like, there's so much negativity around challenge. But we're human and we're going to have challenge. And I think that something that people maybe like worry about with Nurtured Heart is that it doesn't leave room for connecting over the experience of real negativity where, you know, if someone's crying, a child or an adult, about something that's really hard for them, and it's like, isn't good, so I don't want to energize it. Like, I don't want to be in this space with you. I'm going to reset you politely and respectfully and wait for you to be in a more grateful space or in a better space. And then we can, do our song and dance, because I don't want to energize this like idea that you're a victim or this idea that like life is too hard for you or whatever. And so I'm sort of doing this like cold, hard line between us of I don't go into the hard. I just go in the joy and the good and the greatness. And the reality of life is that life is hard sometimes. And that empathetic, I'm here with you, I hear you, I see you, like, this is hard, you're right. That validation of like, wow, that was so hard what happened to you. And that you must feel so this and you must feel so that. And just like sitting in it together and discussing the feelings and being in the yuck is something that in today's sort of mental health world and just emotional awareness, like there's a lot of, we want to accept all emotions. We want to receive all emotions. We want to give space for all emotions. Emotions are not bad. Emotions contain information, emotional expression. We need to be able to express our emotions. If we keep them trapped, they're going to come out in other ways. So when emotions are anger or resentment or sadness or just net pain, well, those aren't positive things. So then Nurtured Heart just says, like, does Nurtured Heart say, like, just, I'm totally playing devil's advocate here, but does Nurtured Heart say, like, well, just don't talk about that, find things to be grateful for, just find the greatness? Just like, how do we not have this toxic positivity of don't be human because we all want to be good? How do you carry this validation, space of empathy, space of like being with the other person in their challenge, in their struggle, in line with, the truth of Nurtured Heart? I even feel like I need to just say out loud, I absolutely do not believe in shutting down emotion and turning it away. And I believe it's absolutely possible. But that's what I want this conversation to be about, to see how it's possible.
Wow, that's very rich. And immediately there's so many different levels and layers of how to speak to what you're saying. The first thing that kept like going through my mind is, acknowledgement is not necessarily agreement. Acknowledging a person's experience is simply that I see you, I see what's happening. And we don't ever want to bypass emotion. Emotions are signals. They're signals that come up that say, hey, something needs to be different. Something needs to change. So what we want to do with the Nurtured Heart approach is move that energy emotion. We want to move that energy. So empathy, there's being empathetic and understanding and being aware of a person's experience, how we show up to that. So we're in service of not perpetuating, even if you are victim of a circumstance, it doesn't mean you need to perpetually be victimized. There's a way of how you support someone and become a hero of their own story. being present with someone is empathetic. Like in the approach, no, we don't want to energize negativity. Yes, we want to energize seeing the person and their experience, and then knowing, yes, this is how I want to show up, and no, this isn't how I want to show up. To know what is it that's actually going to support this person in the moment, to nurture their inner wealth, feel seen, heard, and connected with, without feeding the wrong story. And what does that mean, wrong story? Well, yes, you want to be there for someone, and you want to support how they're going to self-soothe and find their way of working through the issue, right? You're just the facilitator. But stand 3, that knowing how to show up or not show up, clarity is compassion and compassion is clarity. Anyone that has worked with the approach understands that, setting certain limits and what you're going to attend to or not attend to, and supporting someone with a very big emotional experience is very important. And to me, that's really, a true empathy of humanity, that we need to be sure how we're showing up. And so to show up to someone's experience, if I'm in a therapy situation, we're in a conversation, of course I'm going to acknowledge, I hear in the tone of your voice, that how passionate you are. Like, I can, in anything that's being said, I can point out the strengths I see in this anger that's being expressed. If the person's not calling me names, I can see the passion that you're showing, and how deeply this affected you. Like, I want to convey, I see you, I notice, and I can relate to your experience. And then I can also point out in those moments the inner wealth that I see, that the level of resilience, the level of forgiveness. Oh, I noticed you set boundaries, and so how I'm listening and how I'm interacting, I'm pointing to the strengths in a person that may have helped them get through it, so that it can help them continue to move through it, not stay in it. If I'm working with a child, it might be in that moment that they're having that experience, and I can hold my presence by maybe not energizing the tantrum. But there's also the difference between a tantrum, what's the empathetic, compassionate thing to do in the moment. There's having a meltdown, where you need to have a different kind of presence, and how you empathetically show up, and what you say and don't say, what you energize and don't energize. Whereas, in the other circumstance, you might need to be waiting for a moment till you engage, because you don't want to energize negativity.
Yeah.
And it's the dance of showing up to the person that you're with, so that you're actually operating from an empathetic position of, I see your pain. I don't need to hang out and dance and snuggle up with the pain. I want to snuggle up and see the truth of who you are, and in moving through that experience. Because and that's empathizing with the some parts of us that sometimes we can't see for ourselves until we're talking to someone else.
I want to talk about that, snuggling up with the pain with you, because this is such a gift and a just important topic, I feel like, because of the emphasis or awareness that's like everywhere now around what minimizing emotions does, and how people who were taught to stuff their emotions or to not express themselves, grow up to be people who had to develop all kinds of coping mechanisms, many of them extremely harmful, even deathly, and how horrible it is to minimize emotion. So where that's left people without the tools of the nurtured heart so often is, I don't know what to do, because my absolute clarity is I can never shut down emotion. I just have to sit here. I mean, even I'm thinking about, complaining. I have some complainers in my home, complaining and complaining and complaining and complaining and complaining. And it's too much for me. And I don't believe it's serving anyone, but I'm stuck in this important belief from everything I'm hearing and everything I'm learning, that I can't shut down their feelings, and they feel like this is so hard. I have to sit in the hard with them. I have to snuggle up in the pain with them. I have to sit and listen to them complain and complain, because that's how they feel. Who am I to tell them not to feel that way? Who am I to tell them that it's not as hard as they're saying it is? I don't want to shut it down. I don't want to minimize them. I don't want to contradict them. So I just sit there and hold space and hold space and hold space. And it's so negative and it's so draining. And oftentimes it'll lead to what I don't want to do, just out of desperation of like, yes, minimizing that complaining by saying like, well, what went right today? Or like, well, like, is there nothing to be grateful for? Or like, what about X, Y, and Z? Like, isn't that something good? Or like, or some sort of gaslighting or some sort of trying to change their mind of how they feel and think to get them to somehow be happier and feel better, because it's just so much negativity. But we can't do that. And even like a 3-year-old who's crying and crying and crying. It's like, I just have to sit with her crying. I don't want to go to school. So I just have to sit with her and like not take her to school because she doesn't want to go to school. So I want her to use her voice and I want her to express how she feels. So I should just like sit here and never bring her to school because she wants to play on the playground for longer with me and she wants her mommy. So I have to sit with her and sit with her and sit with her and sit with her. And everyone ends up going crazy. The adults in that situation lose it because they can't sit there. They have a job to go to. They need their kid to stop feeling sadness about going to school because they can't shut down the sadness. So the sadness has to go away. So then maybe I'm bribing. Maybe I'm being like, well, okay, when we come home, I'll get you ice cream. Like, and then I'm in the cycle of like, once the ice cream tapers out and they're not interested in that anymore, then what do I do? So I think that the world is in a place where we understand the importance of emotions. We understand the importance of not minimizing someone's experience, that someone's experience is important to be heard and seen and validated and real, and that it's not our place to tell people or gaslight people or attack people and try and like force them to be somewhere that they're not. And we don't necessarily, without nurtured art, have a way to do that without just getting sucked into this like vortex of negativity. I think it's just so much about the problems. And I think that this is the brilliance in what you're saying and the gift of nurtured heart, the balance of really, it's not about good or bad. It's about great. Howard says that in one of his videos, right? Like, it's not the good child or the bad child. It's the great child. It's not about a judgment on whether or not your experience or emotion is valid or good or bad. It's being in the truth of the moment with you. I hear you. I see you. This is what you're going through. And my focus is always stand to. So I'm always going to see where the strength is in that. I'm still connecting and seeing the person, but it's like, where's the portal of entry? Is the portal of entry the gloom and doom and darkness of, oh no, there's big feelings? Or is the portal of entry, wow, this is big, how big you must be, right? Like how amazing you are for the hero of your own story. I haven't seen this anywhere else, to be able to fully hold the immensity of people's experience, human experience, not shut it down, not need it to become rosy and butterflies and unicorns, not needing to turn it around, and still connect completely over strength and inner wealth and have a positive experience of all this. I'm very passionate about this. I could go on and on. Do you hear the passion in my voice, Heather?
I hear the passion in your voice. Yes. And, it's to ground this in on like what we're talking about for the listeners that have are aware of the approach. It's a matter of the stand one, and I'm just going to repeat it again. Absolute no, absolute yes, and absolute clarity. That okay, so you're going into a situation. We're going into the holidays. You're going into a situation, and you got the family members that there's stuff. It's going to be talked about, and you can. We all have the certain roles that might exist in our families, or or any great movie has all the has all the characters that you may see. But you may decide, okay, no, I'm not going to argue. No, I'm not going to commiserate. No, I'm not going to feed any drama mama. Like maybe those are your 3 things. And no, you're not going to interrupt. No, I'm not going to fix. Okay, those are your stand 3. So if you catch yourself stand 1, energizing in any of that, you're resetting yourself to the present moment of not just holding space, creating space for a different conversation and energy to occur within it actually can be within the environment, not only just with the one person you're speaking to. So in that conversation, you're in stand 2. And in stand 2, you're holding presence, that presence and empathetic awareness, one for yourself, because you know how you want to hold your energy and take care of you. First, you want to be empathetic towards yourself, right? Because it's so easy to get twitchy when stuff's a little funky on the outside. So how do I hold that compassion for myself while having this conversation I may or may not want to have? But there's then the breakdown of the recognitions. The number one, because we really want to deeply be able to listen, is that active recognition of simply, I hear you saying X, Y, Z. I noticed when you were saying that, like, your body language changed, like that you're just, I see, I hear, I notice, gosh, I smell, like whatever the, not that I smell, but like, something in the environment, like you want to use your senses and then say exactly what you see or notice. That is actually so incredibly helpful for someone to be seen. You don't have to ask questions to look for more information, because you think, like, because we want to be these problem solvers to help. You don't have to. You can actually give these statements. You give these statements, they're going to share more. And the more they share, and then in your mind, you want to be like, what greatness does this show? And then you want to notice what qualities. You want to see what qualities. And gosh, even though the third one, even though that could have gone to bleep, 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 it didn't, because you chose to, well, maybe you kind of like cussed them out, but then you did this. That really showed a lot of self-control, because I know how you can get, girl. And then you just keep going. So it's really like you just stay casual in the conversation and you're just showing up. Because what's happening, whatever their anxiety is, whatever, they're kind of, stuck in their little fight or flight, that acknowledgement is helping their nervous system chill out. They're being heard. They're being noticed. You don't have to agree. You're only acknowledging. You're just being present. You guys might have different opinions on things, and that's okay. It's not your job to sell anything. And you can just be curious and wonder. And as things chill out, things just automatically settle. And the more that you do that, it starts to shift the conversation. The conversation can shift. And even while that's happening, you got the three little kids around, they're all acting a little bit different. There could be, like, you're in this conversation, la 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 la, and then that one kid, like, that's when you want to shoot off a little recognition over there before the next little blow up. But they're having the little blow up, and it's like, okay, you don't want to attend to that, but the moment that they stop, so you can be in one conversation and still attend and be empathetic to the entire environment, by just sort of orchestrating how you show up.
I love the direction it gives of like the what to do in the moment. I don't know what to do with all this negativity. I'm just like waiting for this person to feel better, waiting for this person to say something right. Refusing to energize negativity, but really stand to. Like, it gives me a where to be. Where I am is I want to see, I want to look for, I want to connect with, like, the greatness that I know is here somewhere. And so I have something to anchor me in not getting reeled into the negativity that they're spiraling in, because I have a job here to do, like, to find that spark of success, inner wealth that, like, maybe they don't even know, and I can highlight that and bring that out. And so that's my role. That gives me a space, a way to show up. And I think that without that, it's easy to feel like I want them to feel better. And so with this ability to have my role not be, I have to make them feel better. I'm the therapist. I'm supposed to make them feel better. I'm supposed to fix them. Rather, my role is as the other person in the room. I don't need to fix anybody or change anybody. I am here just to highlight what's already going right and what's already beautiful. I get to see them in that process automatically. And it's in the most, like, defense calming, heart opening way, because not only does the other person now feel seen, but the other person also feels like judged favorably, like judged for the good, seen as the hero, like really like it goes from being defensive to the world of like, don't blame me because I'm the victim here and don't say I'm wrong, to this space of like, yeah, I am. Like, I actually am good. Like, there's good in me and she sees it and she believes it. Like, I'm actually, I don't have to like scream and yell that I'm okay because everyone thinks I am.
And, as I'm kind of hearing the way that you're talking about things, and, I would like to believe the way that I convey things, like what we think of positivity, is putting this polished spin on it, which will just make people not, like, oftentimes they will not trust you, or they will feel like you're just trying to, like, put some icing on a situation.
And you are.
It doesn't land. Like, what I like to say about, stand to is, what positivity really is can you see things neutrally without the negative story attached to it? That's the level of positivity that we're looking at it, like, to just see, doing the best to see things as they are, so they can be even seen more clearly, and from just shifting the lens ever so slightly. Because really all you're speaking is truth. You're really looking to convey the truth of the moment, not just the reactionary autopilot that pops out of our brain and runs us so often. Because we're just all running this program of background stuff, and our interpretation of things. And I mean, we all are. And this kind of says, oh, let's find what's really happening here.
Yeah. It's so connecting because we're in this moment together completely. And as I feel fully with you, I notice the clock and I'm saying, wow, that went by fast and we need to close because we're getting long here. Heather, if people would like to connect with you or use your services, how can they find you?
Okay, you can find me at dynamicwisdom.com.
Fantastic. See you next time, everybody. Hey, wait, don't go yet. Take a minute to find the beautiful quality that you have, that you appreciate about yourself.